Today I'm going to be telling you about the two back-to-back lucid dreams that I had over this past weekend. I'll tell you about the techniques I used and the reality checks that helped me become lucid in the dream. My entire channel is about lucid dreaming, so if you're interested about the topic, go ahead and subscribe. Now, it was Saturday and I was sleeping. It was about 4 a.m. I woke up out of a dream and I didn't have to go to the bathroom or get up at all, so I realized I want to try to do the mild technique, which is the one that I used. And so I stayed very still in my bed and I said about 10 times to myself, I'm going to have a lucid dream. After the 10th time, I focused all of my attention at the start of that dream. Now, if you're into lucid dreaming or if you're doing dream journals as well, at this point your dream recall is probably very good. So I was able to remember basically the entire dream from the start of it all the way up to that moment that I lost the lucidity or I awoke from the dream. I was not lucid yet. So I was lying in bed, eyes closed, wasn't moving a muscle, very still, very relaxed. And what I wanted to do was I played from the very beginning of the dream. Everything I could remember, all the scenes, everything that happened to me, all the way up to that moment I became lucid. Once I finished going through every scene and I got to that last moment, I pictured myself becoming lucid in that moment. I pictured myself doing reality checks in that moment. I was constantly picturing myself in that moment becoming lucid. I remember what I was wearing. I remember trying to think, okay, this is what I'm wearing. I'm becoming lucid. I'm doing a reality check. Now, at this point, I don't know if a few minutes have passed or a few seconds, but I then was in the dream. I remember being in the dream and the entire dream reset itself. So I was at the very beginning of the party again, and I remember thinking, okay, this is a dream. I've already gone through all of this. So I said, I'm going to do a reality check. And I started to count my fingers, and I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I had 6 fingers. I had a finger jutting out of my hand this way. And I thought, okay, this is probably a lucid dream. I don't have 6 fingers. Just to double check, I want to do it again. And when I counted my fingers again, all of my fingers were nubs except for one really long finger. So immediately I gained lucidity in the dream. I was aware. And I got pretty excited because at this point, other lucid dreams, I might have tried to fly off or do something, crazy. But I was at a party with a bunch of my friends and I just wanted to see how it was going to go. And so as I'm sitting there, I'm more leaving the environment. I was just kind of up against the wall and I was watching the whole party play out and I was talking to my friends and the whole time I knew I was dreaming and I was acting almost like a psychic in the dream. It was really fun. I was calling everything that was going to happen. I was in my head saying, this is going to happen. That person's going to walk through that door. That person's going to drop this. There was a scene in the dream where my buddy was working out at the party and he dropped a weight on himself and I even knew that was going to happen. And so it was just really fun for me to kind of see what was going on. I then wanted to bring one of my friends into a room and tell him that he was a dream character and see how he would react. So I asked him if he could follow me into this room. We start walking through the party. We get into this room, and as I shut the door, I immediately reset the party somehow. I'm not sure how that happened, but again, I was at the very beginning of the party. I didn't have to do any reality checks. I was aware that this was still a dream. I just somehow reset it to the very beginning of the party. And again, I kind of removed myself up against the wall. I watched everything play out again. It was really fascinating because I've never had a back-to-back dream or a lucid dream to where I became lucid and the dream just reset itself and I didn't have to do any kind of reality checks. I just knew I was still in that dream. So besides watching everything play out, because I've already done that twice by this point, I decided I'm going to find that same friend of mine, try to see if he can follow me again into this room and I can tell him he's a dream character. I really wanted to see his reaction in a private setting. So as we were walking, I started to come across this door and I ended up seeing through the wall. I was not intending to see through the wall. It just happened. That kind of broke my limitation again of, okay, what can I be doing here in this dream at this moment? So as we were walking, I started to try to see through all the walls, all the doors that were shut, that we were walking down this big hallway, and I could see into the doors completely. Didn't have to open them. I could just see what was going on in the room. I thought that was really cool. I was super pumped about it. I looked into one of the rooms and these 2 males were sitting on this windowsill talking, and they weren't rocking back in like a manic form, but they were very concerned and they were sitting in this kind of cross-legged position and they just kept repeating to each other, is this a dream? Are we in a dream? Are we in a dream? Is this a dream? It was just on this endless loop and they were almost freaking out about it. And I remember thinking, that's really crazy that these dream characters are like questioning if they're in a dream or not. I then went into another room. I was trying to see through the wall. Nobody was in that room. So then I went into that room with my friend. And the moment I shut the door, I woke up in my bed. Now, after I shut that door and ended that dream, I ended up having 3 false awakenings. So when you have a false awakening, you definitely want to do reality checks to make sure you can either, get into another lucid dream or to make sure that you are in the waking life. And I really had to go to the bathroom. So I was walking to the bathroom and I made sure I did about 3 different reality checks, because at this point I had 3 false awakenings. So I was like, I need to make sure I'm not going to, wet the bed or anything like that. So I wanted to make sure I did these reality checks. I counted my fingers. I switched some light switches on. I did my counting the fingers again. Everything was fine. But again, the rest is up to your imagination once you gain the lucidity. I chose to stay against the wall instead of doing all these other crazy things. So you only limit yourself in that form. And as always, remember, this shit is so easy, you can do it in your sleep.